Hey friends, so today we are talking about sourdough pizza dough. Sourdough pizza crust. Sourdough pizza dough. Sourdough pizza dough. Sourdough pizza crust. I don't know what to call this. Basically, it's just pizza dough made with sourdough starter. And I think that's all I have to say. We make this like at least once every 2 weeks, sometimes once a week, because it's so good. And it's a little better for you than regular pizza because you have the added benefit of sourdough goodness. So yeah, let's just hop right into the process and the method. So to start, you're gonna need 160 grams of fed sourdough starter, (10 to 13 grams of salt, 500 grams of all-purpose flour, and 375 grams of water. And this is me just showing you what flour I'm using. King Arthur all-purpose. So in a large bowl with your scale, measure out first 160 grams of the bubbly starter fed in the last 6 or so hours. And then add your water, 375 grams. And mix together. Next, you're gonna add your flour. As you can see here, I finished out my little canister. I always add my salt on top of my flour so as to not kill the yeast of my sourdough starter. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but I'm not willing to take the risk. And just mix that all together. Until no dry spots remain. As you can see, it's super wet and sticky. That's fine. That's what it's supposed to be like. So don't be alarmed. Just wash your hands. So then we're gonna cover it and let it sit on the counter for 1 hour. Then after 1 hour, we're gonna do what's called coil folding. So coil folding, it's kind of hard to explain. You put your hands under and just pull up, I guess. It's like an oversimplified explanation, but I guess you can just see what I'm doing and make your own interpretation. I'm probably not even doing it right, honestly, but it works just fine. I'm gonna leave this in real time for the first set of coil folds. And then for the other 3, I'm going to speed it up. But you can see I wet my hands in between because the dough is still really sticky. So to keep it from sticking to my hands, I just wet my hands with a little bit of water. Basically, you just want to coil fold until the dough forms a ball, becomes tighter, and I guess stiffer. Now you're going to cover it and let it rise for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, we're going to do more coil folds. We're going to do this every 30 minutes for the next hour and a half. So this is the second round, and we're going to do a total of 4 rounds. And last round of coil folds. Now after this last round of coil folds, you're going to let it sit on the counter covered with a plate or plastic wrap for 3-ish hours. After 3 hours, it looks a little something like this. And we are going to fumble with our camera and a big bowl of dough and put it into the refrigerator. Overnight, so 12 hours or up to 72 hours. I found my favorite amount of time is 2 days. So like putting it into the fridge on Sunday night and baking it on Tuesday. So now you're gonna wanna get a large baking sheet, or I guess this is a standard size, and oil it generously. I used a combination of avocado oil and olive oil. Don't ask me why, it just kind of felt like it, I guess. And make sure you oil all the way up the sides so it doesn't stick. And you're gonna wanna preheat your oven to 500 degrees. Oh, and the day you wanna make it, take your dough out of the refrigerator at least 3 hours before you want to bake it to let it come up to room temperature so it's not too hard to work with and spread out onto your sheet pan. Then you can just go ahead and flip it out onto your sheet pan and spread it out. Using light fingers. Kind of like stamping it with my fingers lightly seems to do the trick of spreading it evenly so there's not like one super thick piece and one really thin piece. And then you can just top it with whatever you like. I think tonight we just did some tomato sauce, some peppers, onions, and cheese. Then go ahead and put that into the oven. I like to bake it on the rack closer to the bottom for about 7 minutes, and then I like to move it to the rack in the middle or the one closer to the top if you have a 2-rack oven for another 10 or so minutes. You'll be able to tell when it's done, truly, depending on the way the cheese looks on the top. It's not too brown, not too dark. I'll also put some other like videos or pictures of other pizzas that we've made in the past. Yeah, so that's it. That is how we make our sourdough pizza. Dough, crust. And just a couple of notes, I guess. I've had a friend try this dough recipe where she like floured a board and rolled it out like a traditional pizza dough, and it didn't work out so great. She said it still tasted really good, but it was a little tricky to work with, probably because it's so wet. It's more like focaccia as opposed to a normal pizza crust dough. Yeah, just something to keep in mind. You definitely, in my opinion, do whatever you want, but want to do this on an oil sheet pan and not like a floured surface. But yeah, I think that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.